Is day 4 of becoming a powerful personal brand. Now, listen, I posted something that says, you don't have because you don't ask. And even when you ask amiss. Have you ever seen something that somebody's presented, somebody's put on, and you're like, and so what's your point? You never want to be in a position in your career in business where people are like, and then. So today we're talking about how to leverage your personal brand. Remember, your personal brand is your intentional, ongoing process to create a certain image or impression of yourself in the minds of others. You never want people to have to fill in the blanks when you want to out in social media and being a mover, shaker, and everybody has to see you. I'm just talking about your life. I'm talking about your career, whether it is at your colleagues, your department, it's your organization, it's your industry. I'm talking about your business, whether you're talking about your clients or peer businesses, the market. You don't want in your communication, in the way that you conduct yourself, the way that you present yourself, for people to say, and so why should I be interested in that? So today we're going to talk about not just you being intentional, you going through a process of creating a certain image, a specific image and impression of yourself in the minds of others. We're going to talk about how then you can leverage it. Because what many people are good at, and I think this is a culture thing, you guys will have to let me know, that we're told to work and we're told, to do well. So at school, we did well with our grades. And then at work, you're told to really perform well and, be faithful in your service and more or less say yes to anything, to keep them happy, so that when it comes to performance evaluation time or when it comes to, being considered for possibly promotion or pay increase, that they remember you. So we're usually told, do the work and the work will speak for you. Do the work and, people will recognize that and they will call you out. Shock on you. I heard this from Pastor Angie about 10 years ago. Shock on you. No. People will not call you just because you do the work. People will not engage you simply because you're present every single day, simply because, they know that you're relevant, simply because, you do add value. I mean, if you were to ask me, I think I'm present and relevant and I add value, but people aren't running to me. Like after this thing, I'm about to put on an ad for the Master Plan class the next season. I have run 10 seasons of the Master Plan class. Why am I still putting out ads? Why can't people just look for me in the droves, in the millions, for the value that I add every single day on social media and for all the people that I've served? Because people don't. You have to not only be visible, like yesterday we were talking about positioning your personal brand. You not only have to be present and relevant and that you add value, but you really need to learn this last bit. How to leverage your personal brand. Because you could have a great brand, and unless you're triggering people, and I mentioned this yesterday, with a call to action, unless you are positioning. I remember having this conversation with one of my clients. I don't know why I don't recall who it was right now, but I think I've actually had it with several. I think I've had it with 3, especially ladies. Please let me know, ladies, don't you feel sometimes a little icky to try to sell what I've done in the year and, what I'm really worth? I should be paid more. Just a show of hands. I get, honestly, even I had gotten uncomfortable in business when I go to share this amazing service that I can provide a client and I have to haggle on pay, right? Thank you for being truthful, Letty. When I had to haggle on pay, I'm like, look, I know I have a good product. I know my track record speaks for me. I have enough people that can vouch for me. I am not going to go back and forth with you for every single shilling because where I come from Tanzania, and we talk in Tanzanian shillings. I'm like, no, this is beneath me. For a person that has invested as much as I have and that has proven herself as much as I have, I should not have to sit here right now and try to justify and negotiate every single thing. And I remember one of my colleagues, Felicia, shout out to you. She said, listen, I have no issues speaking money, I have no issues leveraging what we have done and who we are to get people to understand the value that we add and to pay us at the price point that we deserve. So she said, listen, if that's an issue for you, you open up that conversation and I will close that sale. So if you've ever been, hey Liz, if you've ever been in a situation where you are uncomfortable having to explain your merits, having to highlight the value add you have brought to the organization, having to really go out there and listen, if you're in business and you're watching this, I'm looking at God Living, Lucy, Saint Dogo, Masood, who Liz, Letty, who else do I have here? Melza, Ima. If you've ever been in a situation in business where you so had to speak about what you can do that you were willing to take any price, willing to go down. I've actually had clients, male and female, by the way, who even in the initial conversation as they're pitching, they are already standing on the client side, not their side, and giving discounts. Nobody even asked. They're already talking about how they can add something additional. Nobody even asked them. Sell yourself, having to prove yourself, having to stand in your position so you can get what you are worth. So I want us to talk about that today, because it's not enough to be perceived a certain way. We fall short on the ask. And that's what today is all about, how to leverage your personal brand, how to make that ask that gets you from, yeah, we know her, we know him, we know what they do. Man, nobody does it like they do. To get you from the point where people are like, this person, their things are always so fresh. When they come to the board meeting, their ideas are always so fresh. When they come to the management meeting, you truly understand that they're not just speaking about their department. They truly comprehend what this business is about and how it's positioned in the market and where we're trying to take it. This business, every time we engage with this business, we truly feel as if they understand us. So whether it's B2B or whether it's business to individuals, it's not enough that people think that, yes, they're there, they are relevant, and they add value. You need to close the deal. Somebody write, close the deal. And often we don't close the deal, both as individuals and we're looking to get to the next level in our career, and as businesses that really want to distinguish our brand in the market, we often don't close the deal. And today, somebody say today, and I know you're going to say today, and I'm not there to hear you say today. Today, we're going to talk about how you can leverage your personal brand to make that ask. Because listen, for the fact that you are in that room, for the fact that you are around that table, for the fact that you're having this conversation, it means you've warmed up to this person, you've warmed up to this business, you've warmed up to this industry, you've warmed up to the board, to the management team, or whoever it is that you're making that ask for. It means they recognize you as a brand, personal brand, because listen, I'm always talking to the leader, right? They recognize you as having the ability, both the relatability in terms of relationship and the credibility in terms of skills and experience and competence for what you're having that conversation about. You have made it. This is what I was saying last week when I was talking about career as well. When you get to the interview stage, you're not mincing words. Your cover letter was sieved through. Your CV was sieved through. They called you when they wanted you there. You're at the interview level. You pass the interview and you're negotiating pay. Please close that deal. And so many a times we don't close that deal. Somebody write close that deal. We don't close that deal with the ask. And then we get whatever comes and we're not happy with it. So if you have so positioned your personal brand, and listen, we're not just talking to anybody, right? We have been driving this entire week about the fact that whoever I am, I cannot serve everybody and I cannot do everything. So you would have found from previous videos, and please go to Purposeful Excellence channel on YouTube. There's a playlist on becoming a powerful personal brand, and you will see previous videos We've spoken in previous videos about being very clear about who you are, what you stand for, what value add you offer like nobody else can, and who you are speaking to, really understanding. I mentioned this yesterday, a client of ours, and we just came from consulting. My husband and I consult together. We're consulting this client, went down to the point of giving her target audience a name. So her target audience has an identity, a gender, an age group, a profession, an income bracket. This person has a name, so that every time she speaks and she's creating services and she's thinking about what would be of interest to them, she has that person in mind. I also have a name for the person that I am targeting, what I'm doing. So listen up. Speaking to what their issues are, how they like to be served, how they prefer to be served, how much disposable income they have towards what you're asking for. What they're, and this, if it's a business and you're looking for a job, what are the scales, what is their budget, what level is this role. Do your research, so that when it comes to the fact that I've already gotten close enough to you, you respect my personal brand, you have a very specific image and impression of me, you know that I'm relevant to you, you know I add value, you know that when you engage me, your business will skyrocket. I am now going to close that deal. I'm going to make that ask. So what does that look like? How do we leverage our personal brand to the very specific audience we're speaking to? Guys, if you do not get anything else, it is this: you're not speaking to everyone. Because sometimes we're out there putting ourselves out to people that are not even supposed to be our audience, and we wonder why we don't have traction. So I'm talking about the very audience that you are called to. I want you today to close that deal by making an ask. This is how you leverage your personal brand. You have already created a specific image and impression of yourself in the minds of your target audience, which then means they've warmed up to you and they're more likely to engage you in things. So don't just float around them. Don't just talk and say hi and just be there. Go ahead and make the ask that you want, so that you can get the results that you seek. Yesterday, I kept on drumming and drumming. Have a call to action. Have a call to action. Don't just appear. Don't just be relevant. Don't just add value. Tell people what you want. And given the fact that you have so positioned your personal brand that they see you as an authority, it then means they are most likely to want to engage with you and to deliver and to listen and to pay and to partner. Whatever it is you will be asking of them, they're very likely to say yes to, because you have so established your reputation, established your track record in performance, established affinity and relationship with them, that they see you as their people. You see, in one of my videos, I was like, are you my people? Because I think you're my people. You build a tribe when people say so-and-so is my go-to person. That if I'm going to have a service, if I'm going to get a product, if I'm going to engage with anybody in this thing, it's going to be this person. So in that case, when you get that close, I don't know why, this made me think of my husband and I courting, right? I mean, you've been courting, might as well make the ask, right? You've warmed up, you've gotten this close, you've gotten this far. You've proven yourself, you become relevant, you show that you have the solutions that they need for a lifetime. Just close this deal, man, make the ask. The dude made the ask and I married him. So come on, this is what it takes. To leverage, the definition of leveraging is to use something to maximum advantage. To leverage is to use something to maximum advantage. In this case, you're going to leverage your personal brand. You're going to leverage the image and impression you have created of yourself in the minds of your target audience. And so you're trying to position as a monitoring and evaluation specialist in your industry. You've already done that well. You can make some asks, whether you're asking for a raise, whether you're asking for promotion, whether you're going to a new place, whether you want to be an industry expert, whether you want to get on boards and they need an M&E capacity on the board, whatever. At this point, you've already created this image or impression that you are the go-to monitoring evaluation specialist. If you're a business that's serving other businesses and you have distinguished your business from others, you are now in a position to approach your target audience and, ask for a retainer, ask to have a contract, that will serve them for the next 5 years, for instance. I better not choke here because I don't even have water right now. Okay, so what are some of the ways in which you can leverage? You can use your personal brand to maximum advantage. Number one, make sure, I didn't even write this here, but I'm gonna say it. Make sure that you note down all the things that you do that add value. And I mentioned this last week when I was talking about career success, and there's a whole playlist about career success on the Purpose and Excellence YouTube channel. I mentioned that you should think about where you have added quantitative, something that can be quantified, percentages, figures, maybe it could be revenue increases, wherever you can put a number to it. Numbers are always nice. I have a friend that says numbers don't lie. Sometimes they're cooked, but usually done right, numbers don't lie. Or qualitative. Show how you transformed things by being there, by doing what you have done. That way then, by taking note as you go, you won't suddenly forget when you're facing a situation where you have to make an ask. So put it down every single, whether it's daily or weekly. Take note of all the things that you have done to distinguish yourself in your job, in your business, in the industry, to your target audience, so that when you're coming to make the ask, you can incorporate that as part of your pitch. You can incorporate that as part of the letter or the submission that you're making. And the other thing, hi, Honore, welcome. Betty, Didis, and Fatma, welcome. Number two, you can start thinking about lining up, whether you've just started out in your career, although I am speaking to leaders, so at least here is going to be mid-management. So I was going to say, think of getting academic, professional, character references, and even references from professional associations. So you are a very active member of a certain professional association. Think of earmarking individuals that are respected in their field, that have experience working with you. So listen to this. I've several times turned away people who asked for references, who've asked because I haven't worked with them. And I will not lie. I mean, I know they're a great person generally, and I may know them in another area, but I haven't worked with them. So I cannot vouch for them for what they're applying for, for those references. But I will recommend, hey, listen, I know you're good at this. And because I know you're really good at this, can you think of somebody who will be better suited than myself to do that reference for you? Because it might do you a disservice if I did, and then they follow up with an interview with me, because I have been interviewed as a referee before. I mean, several times. I have been asked to write out entire essays for somebody else's application. Like I am writing the essay for somebody else's fellowship or leadership program or, graduate degree program. And so you really need to be a person that knows you. So they really need to be a person that knows you well, so that they can give you a fair and great evaluation of your capacity. So start thinking about, if it's academic and maybe you're, mid-career looking to go back, to school, but definitely a professional reference from a person you have worked with and you served well with. Which is why people, let us not leave places with ill will, because one day we might want to come back and it will bite us on the behind because we didn't live well. No matter what happens to you, be the bigger person. Make sure nothing negative can be traced to you. No matter how you felt and you went and you cried and you had a whole with your best friend or your family in front of them. I remember I had this, load. I'm a born again Christian. I need to be careful. I worked under somebody special. A bunch of us did. And she, I don't know who did her wrong. Oh my goodness, may God forgive whoever did that woman wrong, because she traumatized us plenty. Suffice it to say, that one day she so pushed me that I was crying back, so we went out for a retreat and I was crying at the hotel room and we were sharing. So I was with one of my colleagues. I love you, Pappy. Happy. So I was with her and she said, Mode, you're not going to sleep with your eyes all puffed up looking like that. You're going to wash your face. You're going to look your best in the morning, and you will not give her the satisfaction that she got to you. This is a professional position. If she chooses to do anything else, you will not bring yourself down to do that, and you will not let her see you the way you are. So I wash my face, dry my tears, and the next day I was fine. Well, inside I was like, I got some words for you, but I put my best face. So when you are seeking references, this is how you leverage. Remember, leverage is use something to maximum advantage. This is how you leverage your personal brand. You've already done well. You already have a certain image and impression with these people. You've been serving them. You've been serving them well for years. Every job you've been to, you've proven yourself. In the industry, you're a mover and shaker. You're an influencer. You're contributing. You're doing things that have impact. So when it comes to making an ask, number one, you're going to be very discriminate about who you ask, because you want to have somebody that has worked with you and can give, an accurate, positive evaluation of what you've done. So guys, if you haven't been doing well, God help you, because some of us just tell the truth of our experience working with you. And then, so yeah, you look at their profile. I digress a lot. You look at their profile to make sure you've chosen well, and then you ask them to be a referee. Now, this is a rule, and I kind of addressed this before. This is how you can leverage your to maximum advantage. You can either ask people to be referees in general. So you've got your CV, you've got referees in general, because you're more or less asking for engagements in a related field. Just 2 days ago, so I also consult in business, right? So executive leadership coach, career advisor, and business consultant. And my client and I were assessing a service provider, and we asked this person to give us references. So they gave us not personal references, they gave us references of them doing business and serving other businesses. So B2B references. You want to make sure you profile the right person. And when you're doing the ask, you can ask either just generally, can you be a referee? And so whenever my CV goes out, whenever my bio goes out, you're a person that can be looked up. Or you can have several lined up, and as and when a situation arises, you say, hey, hi, I'm here again. But make sure you've done this early. Make sure you did this even as you worked with them. Don't wait years down the line. Hey, hi, remember me? No, I don't really. Okay, yes, I do. Well, I was wondering if you can be a referee. Like one of my mentors said, Ali Mufruki told me, you disappeared. There's a time I was off with my children. Like, you disappeared a while. I don't know who you are and what you do right now. I can't just put my name next to you. And I appreciate it. I was like, nice one. So I went back to explain what I'd been doing over however long. So make sure that you not only ask them soon after you have worked with them that they can be a referee, and there's something else I'll ask you to do with them. But also when you are coming to them again at that point, and I would recommend, whether it's just the first time you want to use their name, or you make a repeated ask of them, alert them in advance that you would like to use their name, and you'd like to add them as a referee for your application, whether it's a business proposal you put out, whether it's a tender that you submitted as a business, whether you're an individual that wants to engage, whether you're looking for employment or consulting opportunities. Do that ask, and if you can, share with them either the vacancy advertisement, or give them an overview, or give them links to that application, that thing that you're applying for, so that they have heads up, so that they understand my name is about to be used. I may be looked for. Somebody may come contact me. Thank you, Noel. Somebody may contact me to ask me about this person, and then they have the specifics of the thing you're applying for. Listen, you're not cooking this up. You're not asking them to cheat and lie for you. You're not asking them, to just say anything positive, but you do want to give them heads up, right? So this is what the role is. This is what I'm applying for, and so as they review it as well, they can then see. They don't have to see your application. They don't have to see your submissions. They just know what it is, so that when they're asked, they're able to really add value. Guys, this is how you leverage your personal brand, to really add value to the reference that they're making for you. Which takes me to the second thing that you can do with referees. Remember, get an academic one, get a professional one, get a character reference. A character reference may be somebody you've worked with, or like where you were paid, employed, or it could be a character reference from another context with somebody who's worked with you, maybe a mentor, maybe a coach, maybe somebody you work with in extracurricular, but in other areas, maybe you serve somewhere other than where you work, and somebody can give you a character reference, and possibly you're very active in a professional association, so somebody can give you a reference in that as well. What you can also do, and this is why you should do this soon, either as you're thinking of leaving, or you've worked well with people. For instance, I my clients to give a reference, a recommendation, a testimonial, as I am finishing a service with them, or after I have finished a service with them. But after you've done you've offered a considerable service, whether it's you're employed or it's your business. The reason why you want to do it soon, not just to ask for the references, a general one, even ask for a recommendation. So ask for recommendation letters. The obvious is from your direct supervisor, right? Then they can say, I've worked with so-and-so, they started in this, whatever. They then got promoted to this, they've done this, they were able to achieve this. Oh, we think they're fantastic and we wish them all the best. Which I did not get from that beautiful employer I was talking about before, but that's another story for another day. Ask for a recommendation soon after you finish the engagement. And this is where what you could do with your recommendation. You could have it on LinkedIn. There is actually a section on LinkedIn, because that is a professional, site, platform, social media platform for serious professionals. If you're not on LinkedIn, anyway, LinkedIn, please. If you don't have an account, go have an account. If you haven't updated it recently, please update it after watching this live broadcast. So you can have people recommend you. So people are writing their experience working with you, whether this is a direct supervisor, which is the obvious, right? Somebody's worked with you and they supervise your work, whether these are peers, whether this is somebody, could be even ahead of that, but you got to work with them, and so they've gotten to know you. And go back to as many of these really critical people that you had worked with, people that add value, which is why you need to be very discriminate. I already use this word. Be discriminate about who you're asking. You're not just asking anybody for the sake of anybody. You're asking a person who, and this is the unspoken understanding in business, in career, is that your referee will be a person that has greater experience, greater exposure, greater level than you. So it's somebody greater giving a recommendation, not necessarily to somebody lesser, but to somebody that they see as either has potential or has exhibited something great. Usually it is respected when this is a person that was in a supervisory position, or somebody who, as a mentor, was in a higher role. And so when their word comes out, especially when you've chosen a person who in turn has great integrity, a person who in turn is delivers very well, then it works very well for you to have their name associated with you. So you will ask for recommendations. You can put them on LinkedIn. If you're in business, you have a site, or even if you have a page on Facebook, you can have reviews of your services and recommendations. So you can turn those reviews to be recommendations of people's experience with you. So LinkedIn, website, social media, and on your applications as well, that you could not just ask for referees who will then be asked questions and answer, but you can have ready recommendations that you can quote. I see people doing this even on CVs. I don't know what my opinion is on that, that they will have quotes next to a specific role that they played of what people said, of what a specific person said about them. So there will be a nice little quote somewhere on the side of people's response to what they did. So in case you got during your evaluation that you did really well when they were checking your performance, or you were recognized, or you were rewarded, or you were promoted, and somebody sent you a note or wrote something officially, then you can have it on there. I mentioned recommendations. I am including testimonials. So you guys will see. So now I've dedicated Tuesday to testimonials, but both on Modesta.Africa, where it's just profiling me, because you guys know I'm multifaceted. I'll show up with, I don't know what I'll show up with next. I do a bunch of things. So Modesta.Africa is just dedicated to me and however I show up in the marketplace. And Purposeful Excellence Academy is an online coaching platform. And so on both sides, you will see testimonials of people's experience working with me and, you know, having gone through the programs that I offer. You will also see on the Purposeful Excellence Facebook page that there are reviews of the master plan class and people's experience. Why? What does this have to do with leveraging your personal brand? Listen, I want to go back to the basics. Leveraging your personal brand. Listen, I want to go back to the basics. What is personal branding? It is your intentional, ongoing process of creating a specific image or impression of yourself in the minds of your target audience, right? They have the impression of you. Your job in personal branding is to so conduct yourself, so deliver, so show up that you give the impression, a specific impression that you have decided beforehand you want to give. But it is your target audience's job to have that impression. If they don't have that impression, they don't have that impression. Go do your work and reposition your personal brand. But if they do have that impression, how will you know? They will speak about it. That's what personal branding is, essentially, right? What people say about you when you're not in the room. You have served, and you have served well. And I'm speaking in a business context, and it can even be as an influencer. Maybe you're not running a business, but you're a public personality, or you're doing something as an individual. Maybe you're a freelancer, or maybe you're an artist. Whatever way that you show up, that you would like, where you have walked and where you have touched lives, where you have served others and served businesses and organizations and ministries and whatever your capacity is, that you can capture people's experience with you and capture them as soon as you've engaged with them, so that they remember, so that they can give you recommendations, reviews, referrals in detail, rather than just a general thing because their mind is foggy at this point. So because it is my job to be clear about who I am and what impression I want to give and what service I want to, offer. But it is my target audience's job to then have that impression. If they like me, maybe they listen. If they trust me, they'll engage me and they will recommend me. Then getting testimonials, getting these recommendations that can be on LinkedIn, on your website, on your social media page, that you can use in your applications, is then the highest honor, because these are free thinking. These are people that are independent from you. They don't owe you anything. They've already done what they came to do with you, and then they're writing that they think you are great, that what you're doing really added value, it brought transformation, it gave results, and therefore they recommend anybody else in this area that has a similar challenge, that has a similar problem, to come to you because you have the solution. You can guide them through the processes that they need. You can give the products, and they will go from where they are to where they want to be. Nothing beats word of mouth. Nothing beats testimonials. Because obviously, as the individual who's looking for a job, as the individual that wants to serve on a board, as the individual that has a business, I will say whatever in selling and marketing for people to engage with me. And that is what's known. Well, of course, you say that. That's your job. That's your bread and butter. Of course, you're going to say anything to get the opportunity. But if other people, they're not family, they're not friends, they're not going to see me again, And like me, I offer things remotely. Like truly, I don't even get to see people unless I'm doing some Zoom call or something. Then you know, they know that these people will be objective, that these people will be speaking from their real experience and what you're going to do about it. Which is why sometimes, have you noticed these days that when people want to try out a service or a product, they will go read the reviews. They're not just reading what, the service provider is saying or what the product is explaining about itself. That's nice. You would say that, oh, are those your features? Oh, are those your benefits? Are those your functions? That's nice. And then they go to the reviews. And I am one, I don't know about the rest of you guys, who reads the reviews and decide whether to go ahead or not based on the reviews. So understand, you can have the same work for you, but you don't just kind of hope that people will so like what you do and who you are that they will do it. You need to leverage your personal brand, the fact that you have already created this image and impression of yourself in the minds of others, and go so far as to make the ask. Somebody say, close the deal. Close the deal, make the ask, and make the ask to your target audience. You're not speaking to just anybody. Be discriminate. The people that have engaged with you, and the people that if other people. So last Tuesday and this Tuesday, I shared testimonials of clients, executive coaching clients that I think are heavyweight. If these heavyweight people, one of them is from Uganda, the other one from Namibia, if these senior heavyweight people think that my services are good, I'm thinking, well, I guess other people will see that, I have something to, some value to add. And so make that ask. Don't be shy, but be very discriminating about who you're speaking to and be specific in your ask. I mean, I'm probably going to do a whole other video about how we need to be specific before you just go up. You need to guide people. You don't have to tell people what to say about you because that's cheating, but guide them so that they can give you the feedback. Thank you so much, so much. Learning something so huge and amazing if taken seriously. Thank you so much, Finland Minute. Thank you so much. So would have Dorothy Jones, so powerful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. So you make that ask to your very specific target audience, and either somebody has had experience with you and they've gotten services or products from you, or you've worked with somebody and they are senior from you. And so anybody looking at their profile, because that's what people do. Let's say on LinkedIn, if I have recommendations from people who supervise me and gotten to work with me, you will click on that recommender's profile. And then you see all their, accreditation, you see their experience, you see their seniority, you see that they're working with a really reputable firm. And you're saying, if that person recommends him or her, that person must be good. Because this is something else that I want to teach. Oh, yeah, I'm going to slip it in today. You need to protect your personal brand. I am now putting you in the position of the person that may be asked to recommend, give a testimonial for, be a reference for somebody else. People will literally define, assess, evaluate, and make an impression of you based on your association with others. Like it or not. I'm not saying we act all uppity and we're not. No, I'm not saying that. I don't believe in that. I don't live in that. Like, I want to be as regular. I'm the type of person, like, I can chill with the pauper and I can chill with the priest and I can chill with the king. Hello. I can be old things to old people, whatever it needs to be. But listen to this. If you make a recommendation to a person, first of all, maybe you don't even know. Person whose work you don't know well, maybe a person who doesn't have, the ethical, code that you do. People will then say, well, then you must not have as well, because if you're thinking they're good, then you must be made of the same stock. So you need to protect your personal brand. You cannot associate in just anything. There are certain places and there's certain people you just cannot associate with. And so if somebody, and I've done this several times, I've done this with family, several family members, and I've done this with, colleagues. And I would say, now about your issue, and it's usually a character issue. Now and then it's been a work ethic, like just people just show and they would ask for a recommendation, and I say, you don't want my recommendation. You don't want me to write about you because I will tell the truth. And I don't want to do that. So for the people who didn't do well, I'll say, listen, I know you have potential. And it would be real who show up with their businesses and say, hey, can you share this on your platform? Can you do this? There's a person I had a bit of a conversation with because I saw that he meant well, but he rushed through a couple of persons. I said, sorry, who are you? What do you do? What's been your track? I can't just share. And it was a flyer asking people to sign up for something. And I said, I'm sorry, we don't have a relationship. I don't know what this thing is about, where it came from. You're asking me on Instagram, and I see that you have put 2 posts and you don't have a follower yet. I've actually done this 3 times, I think, on Instagram. So I don't know where you came from. What you're sharing with me, it looks like it's valid and valuable, but I'm sorry, I do not feel conversation in the future. I have to be honest. No, I can't recommend you either on character or on work ethic or on delivery. And so for other people, I said work ethic or on delivery. And so for other people, I said, look, is there somebody else you could go to? Or please understand, it was just simply because when we worked together, you just did not deliver. And so that's the only experience I have of you. So if somebody, ever since you've had a different performance, look for somebody who's worked with you recently that can really, really vouch for you. And I leave it that way. On people of character, I'll say, honestly, I pray that, you would do something about this and this and this. Of course, I'll make it work related. Like, I'm not pointing at people, but given what I know and the experience, no, I'm not in a position to give a reference. Why? Well, first of all, with them, people need to understand. I remember there's this term in Swahili, mwache apate riziki yake. So there's some people who say, let them just get their own. Okay, fine, they didn't do well here, or maybe they stole here, or we don't know why they stole, or maybe they didn't do this thing well here, but they're applying somewhere else. So they're gonna go and be somebody else's problem. Let me just recommend them so they can go. No. Actually, you should be the first person to say, please don't take this person. I wouldn't recommend. I would not. I mean, not that you spend your day, ain't nobody got time to go around checking where people are applying so we can give a bad name. But should somebody come to you, you'll say, honestly, this was my experience. So protect your personal brand. You can't be associated with just anybody or just anything, because by association, people then lump you to be the same as them. Excuse me. Sharing the same values, sharing the same work ethic, sharing the same vision and the same methods as the other. And you don't want to do that. The other thing that you can do to leverage your personal brand is you can think of endorsements or affiliations. So for instance, there's another business that does something that complements yours, or there's another artist that is in the same area as yours that you can get into, whether you're under the same studio, you're under the same director. And so by virtue of the fact that you are under that media house, and people know that media house has amazing artists, that media house, really produces good work, then that also tells people anything that comes with that. Oh, wow. You could get into franchises where you're adopting a brand. And so I know several people that are in the industry that is related to a larger brand, but they realize that they can go further, faster, if they seemed bigger. And so they are ready to submit their business to a larger organization or to an organization that has a wider reach. And so whether they're Pan-African or they're global, and so they get into partnerships, they get into a franchise relationship where their name and their brand it'll mean more for their business brand when they show up, when they partner with these larger, with this better position. So think about strategic partnerships in that respect. You can even do that as an individual. So for instance, if you all came from a specific institution that is known to really produce a great crop of people will assume that you are a great crop because you graduated from that. If you are consulting, if you're a freelancer, and you're out there on your own, but you're not getting people. And one of my clients, at least one, yeah, one of my clients, this is what we're able to help her with. She then has partnered with larger organizations so that when they bid for jobs and for projects, when they are doing their work, they can add her CV, they can add her on the team. And in that way, she gets to get the exposure to larger clients and a larger, market than she otherwise would just trying out on her own. But because she leveraged her brand, she was already a performer, right? You can't just be any old thing and asking a larger organization to take you up. No, she already had an amazing brand and could leverage that to go to larger organizations and be a sub-consultant under their management consulting firm. So you can do that in that respect. You can have your CV, you can be part of the team, only it is, an external team, so that whenever they're looking to take on a project, they know they have capacity, including you. And that way you get great exposure. You're possibly also going to get regular income. Oh, that's a whole other thing I'm going into by doing that. People are asking me, wow, not everybody I can recommend. Yep, you cannot. You can't be associated with anybody to protect your personal brand. You must. But sister, maybe I'm a little late here, or this might be a question to many. Let me check what you are asking. How can someone plan, execute, promote, and protect your brand? Because many wish to have strong brands, but it doesn't happen. Good question. And guess what? I have 20 videos dedicated to becoming a powerful personal brand. And so please, if you haven't already, go to YouTube on Purpose and Excellence channel. I go through all of that. Just how do you identify your personal brand? How then do you build it? How do you position it? Because it's one thing to build it, it's another to position it. And then today I'm talking about how you truly leverage it in your wider sphere of influence. So please feel free. There are so many videos dedicated to just this topic, and you'll enjoy that. The other thing is endorsements. So let's say you get a larger brand or a person that's really established in their industry, in their field, and when they recommend. So one of the things that I love to do when I see people really putting great stuff out there, I repost. So somebody's posted their thing. Sometimes I have a comment. Sometimes I don't have the time. So guys, if I've ever reposted your things, and I see some people here that I have reposted your stuff, and I haven't put a comment, it's not like I have nothing to say, but I'm doing it quickly. And I know the next time I come to that platform, the feeds are probably already gone, and I'm not spending my day going to look for you so I can endorse you. But I will repost. Just like that. I don't want anything from you, but I think you're doing something great. I love your products. I love your services. I love the way that you're really putting yourself out there. You're really giving it your all. And so I will repost. Something as simple as reposting is an endorsement, which is also why I will not comment on everything people tag me on. First of all, I will remove myself from things that I'm tagged on that really don't align with me. Guys, I'm that strict. No time. I will also not comment. You tag me to comment, I'm not going to comment. If it's not related to my purpose and my vision and my target audience and how I can then position best. Because for every time, the nuggets today, for every time you say and deviate to other things that have nothing to do with your personal brand, you are diluting your personal brand. You can't engage in just every conversation about everything, even if you could. So every single time, this is how you're going to protect your personal brand. Every single time you get into conversations, you get into group mentality, you get into topics, you are tagged on something. Maybe it's your friend, or it's your family, or I don't know, you don't want them to feel bad. Maybe it's a minister, or maybe it's whatever. And you're thinking, oh my goodness, how they won't understand me if I don't comment. I don't know why you're stressing yourself. Don't stress yourself. No, do not. For everything that people see you saying, doing, associating with yourself that has nothing to do with your purpose, your vision, your mission, and the people that you're called to serve, you're diluting your personal brand. And out here, we're trying to build it. Out here, we're trying to position it, to leverage it. We even want to use a personal brand into posterity, that other people associated with us, our children, our mentees, our coachees, the people we work with, that they can use our brand to get ahead. So no. This isn't a cheap thing. This isn't a small thing. So no, I won't answer everything I'm tagged on. Even if somebody's like, Modesta, could you weigh in on this point? Modesta, please say. And I don't even have to go back. No, I will not say. No, I will not. Unless they come to me 50 million times, like, hey, how come when I'm hearing from you? Then I will say why. I'm not speaking. And of course, I'll find a wise diplomatic way of saying it. I won't be like, that is not what I'm about. No, I don't get into that stuff. But no, you tag me, you call me, you whatever. No, I will not. That's not what I'm about. That's not what God put me in the earth to do. I will do that which God put me in the earth to do. And that's it. And that's it. Anything else I wasn't commissioned to do, I am not there. No. Moving on. So endorsements as well. You can get endorsements from brands, from individuals that are ahead of you, that are already influencers, that are already trusted, that your target audience is already engaged with. And so just one word from them, which is why we take selfies, right? We take selfies with famous people. We take selfies with people that we know that are influencers, and then we post them. I do it myself. I did Richard Branson. I did Susie Orman. Who else did I do? I do it too. Why? Because people are like, oh wow, you got to be in the audience of this person. I mean, to even, and you guys look so tight when you guys. We all just do that. No, we're not tight. We look so tight when when you post together. You must really be at that level. That's the impression it creates. I'm not saying let's all go post and whatever. There's more to do with influencers than just take selfies with them. And personal branding, leveraging a personal brand to make the ask is one to have. Then you can make this ask to position yourself better, to leverage your personal brand, to use your personal brand to the maximum advantage. If it's an influencer, that can do endorsements, or if it's a franchise, it's good, to leverage your personal brand by affiliating with the greater. Someone greater, a brand that's greater, a business that's greater. You can also get into partnerships. So one of the things that I remember doing is you can have partners either in the very same service, or they give complementary services, and you do referrals and you have a fee. You actually have an understanding, you have a contract where if I refer people to you, I get a certain percentage. You refer people to me, you get a percentage. That is actually legal. So businesses will have affiliations, and we'll even have each other's logos on our websites, and all, these are our partners. So then this is something else, just in case you're in business in this thing. You don't have to do everything. You don't have to be all things to all people. You just do what you can do, and then partner with an organization or with people that share your values, guys. Values, that share your values, that share your vision, that share your work ethic, and are speaking to your audience. And then come to an agreement of what that would look like. There's a person that I follow, a coach, who said she created just a title. She had an outline of a program that she wanted to offer. She had nobody following her. Nobody knew who she was. So she went to a person that was an influencer targeting her specific target audience, and asked, if I can come and present to your audience, and this person had a great followership, I will give you 50% of everything I make from this offer. She did. They made $16,000. She kept $8,000, and then she went to develop that product. And she had already secured a followership. So there are a lot of ways that you can leverage your personal brand and get into partnerships with others to really, take off your career, take off your business. Another thing that you can do is consider member base. So let's say reward program. So if you're going to be a member and you like this, and you can share this with other people. Of course, people can be honest. You would also get maybe you get a percentage off, or you get another service for free, or whatever it is. So these are other ways that I have served these people well. I know, and I know if I were to ask them, they would be open to this. And so ask them. If you have people on an email list, if you have people on your Facebook profile. I have 5,000 people. Just the other day, I asked 5,000 people, all 5,000 people on Facebook, to like my Modesta Megan Mbuguni page, because my own account is full. So I asked people to like and also to engage with that page, because I have to transition to the page. Now, I don't know if everybody really cares about me, knows me, or whatever. 5,000 people, I mean, I don't personally know all 5,000 people, truly. But point is, You can do that. If you've been doing a good job, and you know you add value, you're relevant, and being associated with you will actually be a plus rather than a minus for people, then you can make the ask. Now, as we're closing on how you can leverage your personal brand for maximum, right, maximum advantage, I want you to also think about getting mentors. I have several mentors for several different areas, but it's people that I've connected with. We share values, we share vision. They are who I want to be when I grow up. You know, that expression, like you meet some people, you're like, man, it's like I just started this thing just yesterday. I'm almost going into 20 years, but you meet some people, you're like, I need to sit myself down and learn. So get mentors, because not only will they help you grow, and listen, there is nothing like learning from people. There's nothing like learning from those with experience. You can go to school to no end, but there's certain things you will not learn except from a person who's done it, who's gotten, who's fallen several times, who's gotten up, who's established themselves and now has distinguished their brand as an authority. If you can get somebody that you admire, that is really competent and credible and relatable, and would make the time for you, because by the way, if people can't make time for you, then don't bother. We're trying to look for celebrity and really high and mighty people. If they don't have time, then there's no point. Why don't you reach out to somebody else who can actually make the time for you? But it is good to help you catapult, help you refine your personal brand, but also it does not hurt in leveraging a personal brand to mention that you have been learning, you are mentored by this person. Because this person being solid will then say you are solid, because then they have imparted all of them to you. And that's what any good mentor wants to do. As a mentor, I want to so equip, so empower the people that I work with, that they will be miles ahead of me. That is what succession is. That is what parents do with their children. That is what mentors do with their mentees. You want to give them your best so that they can do even better in their time. So then you get somebody that's really solid in that way. You will also have that, by association, people will respect and want to engage with your brand. But also you can ask your mentor to mention by name. So I have my mentors as character references in areas. I have some mentors as some references for some places, because I have many CVs and I position different things. Like I said, I'm a multifaceted person. I pray this has helped you guys. Not only do you know your brand, do you build it, do you position it and understand, you're not taking advantage of them. They know what you're about, but make that ask and be very discriminate. Who am I speaking to? What value add do they bring? And how will my brand really be catapulted by being associated with them? And what are some of the creative ways in which you can make that ask in different ways as an individual, that's serving and looking to progress in career, and as a person that is leading a business. Instagram is about to say goodbye, so I need to check out, guys. I love you. I am so grateful for your presence. I will answer some of these comments later. Thanks for answer. I hope you find your YouTube channel on your profile, Easy Access. Yes, it's on my profile, Easy Access. I don't play. You can find it there. Right. And so until tomorrow, when we talk about how to pass on your personal brand, goodbye. Much love. See ya. I enjoyed this, guy. Thank you, Clara, Finland. Bella, hey, Bella. This will be on the replay if you just come in.